As we enjoy just the very beginnings of Babson Connect worldwide, I couldn't be more delighted that we have 27 of our current students here. Will those 27 students please rise and be recognized? Or don't be so shy. Today, we're here to celebrate 7 of those students, 4 of them in particular. But let me take you back to October 18th, 2013, when Babson College inaugurated its 13th president, Dr. Kerry Healey. In President Healey's inauguration remarks, she laid out a vision, a very powerful vision, to take one of the most global colleges on the planet and bring it to a new level of greatness. And part of the foundation of that vision was the creation of the Global Scholars Program, for which we have the inaugural class on stage, as well as one global scholar representing each of the classes currently at Babson right now. As President Healey noted this morning, there are 40 global scholars on campus, another 10 that will arrive in August. The graduating class was selected out of a cohort of 900 applicants, making places like Cambridge and Palo Alto look like easy admits compared to the 1% admission rate of the Global Scholar Program at Babson College. So on the stage, we have Cass to my left, first on my left, from Brazil. And what you'll see in their engagement over their 4 years at Babson is many of the transformative learning experiences that our students here and our alumni know so well. So Cass is from Brazil. He's the portfolio manager for the Babson College Fund, one of our unique signature experiences where our students invest in the real market with real money. He's also oversees all the tutors on campus, so many of our students benefit from Cass's vision on how to promote subject matter as well as specialized tutoring. And just a few weeks ago, he was recognized nationally by Poets and Quants as one of the best and brightest business students in America. To Cass's left is Lisa. Lisa comes from Belarus. And I know all the global scholars very well, but if there's one student who has taken the sponge of Babson and wringed every drop out of it, it is Lisa. I could spend 5 minutes talking about all that she's engaged in, but I'll just note that she, in the classroom, is engaged in a double concentration, which she'll talk about. On stage, she is part of the Babson Dance Ensemble. And at graduation, she will finish in the top 5% of this year's graduating class. Lisa. To Lisa's left is Salome from South Africa. And Salome has done one of the really quintessential experiences at Babson College. She led a group of 5 students in the management consulting field experience, where they took on a very much social entrepreneurial bent, looking at students with disabilities and how they can be better supported. She also, like Lisa, and also like Rosine, participated in the BRIC program. That's our Russia, India, China program. And through all this, she's finished with top grades as well. Congratulations. And last but not least is Rosine, who has spent 4 years at Babson, but her relationship with Babson spans longer than that. She first got connected with Babson 7 years ago through our Bella program, which many of you know is Babson's Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy, in Rwanda, her home country. So 7 years later, she's a global scholar, double concentrator, participant in BRIC, and also graduating at the top of her class. Our global scholars. I now turn it over to President Healey to moderate this illustrious panel.
Thank you so much, Dean Lapp. That is an extraordinary, perfect introduction for you. And if the last presentation by Professor Sisodia made us all feel perhaps a little bit concerned about the future of the world, meeting these four is going to make you feel incredibly optimistic about the future of the world. So we are so happy to have you here today. I want you to be able to tell this crowd, this group of your now family, your Babson family, how did you find out about Babson? What were you expecting, and what have you come to cherish most about having had this Babson experience? And Cass, let's just start with you, since you're right next to me.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So my name is Cass, I'm from Brazil. I think I heard of Babson. It was actually very close to the deadline. It was a few weeks before the deadline was about to close when I was applying. And I remember I heard about it, and I heard about the opportunity to have the scholarship because one of my educational advisors worked closely with my scholarship donor. And she told me for sure that there would be one scholarship dedicated to a Brazilian student. At that point, my whole selection process was coordinated by the US Department of State because I was part of a program that basically sponsored the entire US college application. And I remember that my advisor from that program told me, you cannot add a college 2 weeks before the deadline. And I remember, no, I cannot let this go. I'm absolutely applying to Babson. It became my top choice. And I remember that at some point, she was so reluctant about it that I literally at some point said, I'm not applying to any other college if I don't apply to Babson. I just have the feeling this is gonna work out. And it worked out at the end. And I think the thing that I really cherished the most being 4 years at Babson definitely would be the Spark Tutoring program. Whenever I talk to students from all the class years before me, they always know me as the Spark Tutor guy. And they know me, most of the cases I don't even know them because I meet so many of them that there would be no way that I could memorize all the names. And they talk to me and they say, yeah, I had tutoring sessions with you. And I've been teaching for so long, and I'm really passionate about teaching that I feel it's definitely the most important experience that I had at Babson because I was able to contribute to the program and design it to the way it is today. And we see hundreds of students every single semester, so I feel that it was also the experience that I was most able to impact the college, the campus culture and the campus experience for everyone else. And it's just so rewarding when people come to me and they tell me, I got a really good grade because of you. And I'm like, no, it wasn't because of me, but I tried to help. So I think whenever I hear that, it is the most positive feedback and the most rewarding feeling that I could feel at Babson as a student.
Thank you, Cass. So, Lisa, I know that Dean Lapp avoided trying to say all of your extracurriculars because I actually have never been to an extracurricular event at Babson where you were not present. So, and I think that's so wonderful because it makes everyone feel so welcome that you embrace everyone and everything at Babson. So, tell us a little bit about how you found out about Babson. I remember you told a wonderful story once about being with your mom and having the discussion.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your home and how that discussion went.
Thank you. So whenever people ask me this question, how did you find out about Babson, I say the truth. I never looked. Babson found me. I was growing up in a country in a family that wasn't able to provide me with opportunities of having a high quality education. So I was growing up with a little brother, taking care of a brother, taking care of my parents, and was going to go into a public university in my country, in Belarus. And one day, my mom found out about a scholarship to America. We didn't know it's Babson yet. And she told me, apply, it's for you. And I looked at it and I'm like, I studied English by myself. I went to a public school. There is no way I can be selected as the only applicant from Europe for this program. But I applied to make my mom happy. And as the time passed, the scholarship kept giving me challenges, like exams that I've never heard of, like SAT. I was told 2 weeks before the exam that I need to take it. Didn't know what it is. And the last challenge, I never actually believed that I can have this opportunity until my last challenge. When we went into the room with a lot of people who were making a final decision, who of all these children who came from all these countries in Europe are going to be at Babson. And they told us, pick an object from a table and sell it to us in English in 20 minutes. And there were many different objects, water bottles, calculators. And my brain clicked, and I saw a pile of papers next to the table. And I took one, and I said, this is what I'm going to take. I just need a blank piece of paper. And I remember I went last, and I'm going there, and I say, all of your presentations were great, but without my piece of paper, you cannot even sign a contract. That was the moment. Thank you. That was the moment when I knew I must be a business person. I must be an entrepreneur. So it was interesting because a month later, I opened my mailbox and the Babson letter is there, just like in the movies. Never dreamt about that. And we didn't know what to do with my parents. My dad was crying. My mom was freaking out that I need to buy more outfits. And we packed my bag, and I sat on a plane for the first time in my life, and I just went. And at Babson, what I'm most grateful for is I'm the first and the only student from my country there. No one speaks my language. No one really understands my culture, but it doesn't matter because I found at Babson a communities from all the different backgrounds, and all these people made it my home. Every day, this is why I'm so involved. I don't have much free time. I study a lot. But every time, every second that I have, I'm trying to be integrated to show people that because of them, I feel welcome on campus. Every break that I need to go home, I cry because I don't want to go home to my country. Babson is my home. And this is what I'm most grateful for everyone who made a place that's so foreign to me make absolutely home. Thank you.
So Salome, can you tell us a little bit about your path here, your country, what drew you to Babson?
Sure. So I'm from South Africa, and I think that before I got the opportunity to come to Babson, I had the opportunity to go to a very prestigious school called the African Leadership Academy. And the African Leadership Academy tries to get students from all over Africa, different socioeconomic backgrounds, to go to this leadership institute. And before going to the African Leadership Academy, I was just a regular student. I was trying to make ends meet. I come from a township, so it's a community of people who are from this low-income background, and we all try to hustle, try to make it through life. But it was really interesting how I got selected to the African Leadership Academy, which then got me connected to Babson, and I was privileged to actually come to Babson before coming from my undergraduate degree. So I came for Babson summer program while I was a high school student, and I met people from all over the world, something that has I'd never met people from China or Turkey. So it was really cool to meet people from other places in the world. And after that experience, I really fell in love with the school. I was like, this is it. Babson's for me. And I think the more interesting story is not what happened, because I was one of many people who applied, and I was very fortunate to get into Babson. But my parents took my Babson letter and they hid it, hoping that I wouldn't leave them and go to the United States, because they didn't know what Babson was. They didn't know what opportunities it presented. So my parents hid my letter. Unfortunately, they didn't know that I got my acceptance online. So So I'd already accepted the offer, and I went home and I told them, oh yeah, so I accepted to go to Babson. And they looked at me very suspiciously and they said, we thought we had hidden the letter and you couldn't be able to accept. And so I'm grateful that technology exists. And I was able to have the opportunity to come to Babson. One of the things that I've enjoyed about being at Babson is how it's taught me the capacity to care for people. I was a peer mentor for 2 years, not 2 years in a row, but for 2 years. And I think being a peer mentor, you're known as the friendly face on campus. It's one of those jobs on campus where you spend a lot of hours doing things and you don't get paid for it. So you really have to love it to do it. And you really have to care for people to do it. And I think that it was one of those amazing opportunities that gave me the opportunity to care. It made me a friendly face on campus, so people were like, oh, hey, I can talk to you, peer mentor, right? And it's just been such a blessing to be a part of so many people's lives, to touch them, to give them access to resources. Like if someone's struggling through school, I'm like, go see Cass. If someone's, trying to understand which club to join, I'd be like, well, you can talk to Lisa, or you can talk to people who are in different organizations, right? And so just being that point person for other students has been the most life-giving thing that I've experienced at Babson, yeah.
Rosine, can you share your path to Babson with us?
Absolutely. So I am from Rwanda, and it's just like, I love talking that Rwanda is a startup nation, so it's not that far from entrepreneurship. In fact, when I think of entrepreneurship, I think of Rwanda immediately. So Babson came to Rwanda, the other side of entrepreneurship, and started a small program for high school students. At the time, I wasn't even dreaming of going to school in the United States, and I happened to be one of the people who were representing my school in the academy. So I went. I did not actually Google what Babson was. They were like, there is some training for entrepreneurship. They knew I was all about entrepreneurship, but I had no idea, is this a university? Is this a company? Is this a hospital? I don't know. So I went, and it was the most life-changing 5 days of my life. We spent so much time looking at how do you just develop an idea? How do you launch it? How do you market it? How do you raise funds? Things like those. It really changed my mind. And literally moving from that program, everything that I was seeing that used to bug me, I was like, that's an opportunity, I can create a solution. And at the time, a little before I went to this entrepreneurship program, I was running a small business selling fruit with my friends at my former high school. And it really turned around. A place where I had an investment for $3, which is about 2,000 Rwandan francs, and seeing how much that small amount of money that really nobody cares about at this point, in this room at least, $3, what's that? But really, that was my investment, and seeing how much it was able to generate this business and grow it in a way that we started actually hiring people. I see this woman, she comes to me, and she's like, this is my job, I'm getting married, and right after I get married, I'm coming back to stay here so that I can keep working for you. And I was like, I thought we were joking. I thought we were experimenting with this entrepreneurship thing, but it's actually something that is creating value in the community. And it was just $3, and I'm like, I cannot imagine how many people are being touched by this tiny business of high school students. So working with the Babson Entrepreneurship Center that was in Rwanda, I gathered curriculum with a few friends, and we started an incubator. So I kept working with the Babson, using the Babson curriculum to help students who are going through an accelerator and the incubator student program in Rwanda. And seeing the success of that was like, you know what, I'm going to school for college. I switched from engineering, I'm going to study entrepreneurship. And obviously Babson, I could not have imagined it, but through the Global Scholarship Program, I was able to make it to Babson. And that has been still the experience, seeing how entrepreneurship radically changes communities, people, continents, the world in general. And personally, some of the things that I have loved being engaged in at Babson is one program called CLTP. It's a coaching for leadership and teamwork. It's helping students just develop more, which they already have, by the way, but teamwork and more leadership. So we have a lot of mentors come to campus. Some of them might be in this room, just helping the students just develop some of these skills that are needed into the world. And I was really blessed to be one of the coaches, and I loved seeing a student look through some of this program, mentoring them, and it was just the most beautiful aspect of my life at Babson. I personally have gone through that coaching 2 times, and many times informally, but being able to give back to another student who is a first year, that taught me a lot. And that's the journey that is at Babson, just about giving back. The Global Scholars Program is because people are giving back. It's because President Healey just thinks, it's like, how do we give back to the world? How do we create this program? Many of you, like all of us in this room, are here because we are thinking, how do we generate impact? How are we going to like bless other people behind us? So personally, in that program, I saw really the weight of giving back, and it was just my utmost joy to share my experience with that student. So yeah, that has been my journey at Babson.
I will remember the phrase, how do we bless those behind us? Wonderful. So, lightning round. We have 4 minutes left, 1 minute each. I want to know what you're doing next, because you're all graduating, and I want to know what you want to do for your home country in the future. So starting with Cass.
Absolutely. Well, we just talked 1 month before graduation, 1 month before commencement. I was blessed to receive a return offer from Wellington Management in Boston. So I had an internship with them over the summer, and then I will be joining them as an investment research associate in July. So I'll be in Boston. I'll be close to my hometown, Babson. And I think for my life, like what I always thought about is really being able to inspire other people. It doesn't matter whether it is within a company, like you are that amazing person, that amazing leader who knows how to teach the junior people and make them grow as well and even be better than you, and they will be inspired by you. And I always think about that. How can we give back, not only within not only to my country, but also like wherever I am, how can I make other people feel inspired to do better, to really care about, to do the most that they can for the things that they matter the most for them. And I think that's what I always wanted. Like, I'm always very proud whenever I go back to Brazil. I go to high schools and talk to students and really talk about my journey to come here. And I always feel extremely rewarded when they tell me that somehow my story impacted them or they were inspired by me. So I think that's what I want to have as a thing that I will leave
As a
after
legacy.
as a legacy. Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Lisa,
Yes.
what's next? And then think about the rest of your life.
Oh, wow. Got to think about that. So I'm going to graduate in May. And as of right now, I'm looking for a job in the United States. United States is the country that educated me so much. It not only uncovered my potential, it grew my potential. People were so helpful and welcoming to me, a person they don't even know. I want to give back to that community as much as I can. I'm going to go into the field of management consulting, but in the further in my life, when I get a little older and a little wiser, I'm hoping to pursue a career in social justice because this is very important. And I believe I can serve my community and my country from wherever I am, being an ambassador in sort of way to my country, talking about my country, and of course I want to help it. My country is not very known about, especially in the US. People are like, where are you from? my country is a country that had a very tough history through many, many years, a lot of loss, a lot of disasters. But it's a country of great, generous, very hardworking people. And I'm looking forward to when I get more knowledge, more skills, and more resources to come back and uplift the people, uplift their confidence, and prove to them that you can do so much with the potential that's inside of you, because that's what Global Scholarship did to me. I was not a shiny anything, and they saw something inside of me that I want other people to see inside themselves.
Salome, I know you've thought a lot about this, so.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about this, a lot. So I'm going to be working at Pricewaterhouse in Boston as an international tax associate. I'm excited. But one of the things that I want to do this summer is I want to go back home to my community, and I want to look at the school systems there because I've taught at some of the schools during my spare time, and I really want to do something to improve that. In the long term, I want to be a female business force in South Africa. It's a real thing. And I also want to be impacting education because my parents are both high school teachers in very bad conditions, and I've volunteered and taught at their schools, and I've realized education has gotten me this far, and I want to make sure that people have the same opportunities I got. Yeah.
And Rosine, I know you're very thoughtful on these topics as well, so you get the last word.
Awesome. So in June, I am on the flight to Kigali in Rwanda, and I will be working on starting businesses within the agricultural sector in Rwanda. I am starting with launching a seed business, which is both actually like figuratively seeds, but also like actual like seed company, providing. I am really passionate about like revolutionizing the agriculture sector in Rwanda and also in the East African region in general. So while at the same time sowing other seeds for some people to realize the potential and be able to achieve even more than we have seen, more than we can even dream of. Some of the time when just like people hear about my country Rwanda, they're like, Hotel Rwanda, something about the genocide. Have you ever heard something like that? Yeah. So that's why I was saying, like, my country is a startup nation that has fallen. That was a failed state 24 years ago, but now it's just the fastest growing economy in Africa and just like a best place to invest in. And so I will be working with different investors. Maybe you might be in this room with setting up different businesses. So that will be my job. We just started the consulting company, and we'll be also investing in the agriculture sector in general.
Thank you. Well, I hope you all now understand why this program is so near and dear to my heart. I can't even begin to calculate the impact that these young people and the other global scholars are going to have, both on this institution, on Babson, but around the world. And I agree with Cass. I don't want you to limit your impact to your home country. Spread it around. Thank you so much.